And we got a little bit of housekeeping. So we are recording this. So if you want to catch it later, you'll be able to see that. And got a screen here. Hold on just a second. So we are recording it, so you'll be able to catch that. If you've got questions over, you just put them in the side panel. I'm going to be double duty as host and question answerer, so bear with me if you see my eyes look over like that. If you want to tweet, this is a pretty short event, but if you want to tweet, please use 805 Conversations. If you want to follow us going forward, 805 Connect for Network News. And then I know there's a lot of people who heard about this through either Kymberlee's tweeting or through the TEDx network. We'd love to have you join us at 805 Connect, so you can do that as well at 805connect.com. And then, of course, this entire project, this isn't a story about the project, but I do want to thank the partners. 805 Connect is brought to you by a ton of really amazing people, and all local throughout the whole region, from Paso Robles down to Simi Valley. We're represented by an amazing alliance of people. So thanks to all of them. If you're on the call and you're one of our partners, thank you very, very much. We appreciate it. So today, oh my gosh, we've got Kymberlee Weil, the Strategic Samurai, speaker coach, TEDx executive producer. It's okay if I look at my notes. You've done so much stuff. She's been an athlete all her life. She was NCAA Woman of the Year. She's a 4th Dan black belt, studying over at Martial Arts Family Fitness. Kymberlee, with such a fascinating background, what drives you to do what you do? And I'm going to hand it over to you and let you go.
When I was 17 years old, I was hit by an industrial truck, resulting in the permanent loss of 2 of my 5 senses. And I decided that for the rest of my life, I would be a badass at overcoming obstacles. Speaking is a great format for overcoming obstacles. I have worked with speakers in all different levels, all different experience, kind of all over the world. And it's really fascinating that the challenges that they face, there's so many common threads to so many of them, whether they're speaking in a boardroom or they're speaking in an elevator trying to get their pitch, accepted by someone, or they're speaking in an audience in front of thousands of people. But there's some common themes and threads of these challenges that all speakers face. So I'm really excited to be able to share some of my tips and tricks with everyone here today, and looking forward to everyone being able to apply these things immediately.
Well, excellent. So, Kymberlee, our format in these is we go pretty quickly. People are really busy. So, and then we do have time for questions. So, if you have a question, go ahead and type it over the question area, and then when we get to that at the end, I'll take those. So, let's get started. So, what's your first tip?
Well, my first tip, I would say, that's absolutely critical is start with a story. Now, you'll notice I started with a story here today. I could have said, thank you, Mark, for having me, and the weather is beautiful in Southern California, which it is, and that's true, but who cares? What you care about and what you're going to remember is that story. And you may be asking yourself right now, well, what happened to her? Like, what was the accident? Where was the accident? What 2 of her 5 senses? Like, all these questions start to percolate in your mind. So that can endear your audience to you, because they're kind of all of a sudden rooting for you, and they want to hear what happens next. So I encourage all of the people I work with to find that story. Find that one story that was transformational in your life. So something that happened that changed your direction in life, or maybe it has to be a really personal story. So something that happened that had you made a different decision, your life would be completely different today. Or someone said something to you that just triggered a change in direction. So you can think about your personal story from all kinds of different experiences you've had in your life. That you might have a story of something that happened when you were 3 years old, if you can remember that. Or maybe it was something that happened when you were older in school. But we all have these wonderful stories, and if you can figure out something that really had an impact on your life, it will then have an impact on your audience as well. So if you can weave that story then into the theme of the message that you want to share, the topic that you're presenting, that will be something that people remember. You know, it's interesting think about the last conference you went to, okay? There were a lot of speakers there, right? So do you remember what you were taught? Do you remember anything about it? You know, you may not remember much of the tools or even the techniques, but you probably do remember any stories that were told. Why do we remember fairy tales? There are these great stories of adventure and triumph, right? So think about that, and the next time that you're giving a presentation, I would highly encourage you to find that story and start right off there.
So Joe's got a real quick question. I got a second here. How long should the story be?
That is a great question. It depends on how long your talk is. So if your entire talk is 18 minutes, which is the TED format, and a lot of the speakers I work with are TEDx speakers, so 18 minutes goes very, very fast. Well, you notice my story today was 1 sentence long, right? And now we're into it. So your story, you can experiment, and I would recommend starting with your story. If you write out your story, go for 5 minutes, then see if you can cut it down to 3 minutes, then see if you can cut it down to 2 minutes, to 1 minute, to 1 sentence. I was just at a great conference this past weekend with Bo Eason. He's one of my speaking heroes, and he took us through this exercise, and it was just phenomenal. And that's how I was actually able to get to my 1 sentence, where I had this story, and I do have this story that I can talk for hours about, but I had to get it down to 1 sentence.
So you're ready for your next tip?
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay.
So we talked about the opening. Now let's talk about the closing. You know, it's really interesting. I have, let's see, just a great example. One of my TEDx speakers that I was working with had just an amazing message, this idea that he really wanted to share with the world, which was really profound, and the world really needed to hear this idea. And he did a really great job at the arc of his talk. And at the end, it just kind of fell flat. And so as an audience member, we want to take action. If we trust you and we believe you and we believe your message, give us something to do at the end of your talk. So it might be you're challenging us to change our beliefs, or maybe you're challenging us to change our point of view, or maybe you're inviting us to start a movement. Whatever it is, go back to the whole purpose. This is kind of when you look at the why of your talk. Why are you giving this talk? Why are you standing up there in the boardroom in front of an audience? Why are you there? And then answer the question for yourself. What do you want the audience to do with this information that you've just presented? How can they take action that day, that week, that month? How can they actually do something so that they can ingrain what you just taught them and expose them to?
So I have a question. You've done over 100, you coach 100 TEDx speakers. We don't just do TEDx. You do a lot of different kinds of speakers. Is this something that people forget on a regular basis until you bring it up?
It is. It's unfortunately, it's more common than I would like to see. I mean, sometimes I work with speakers that are very seasoned. They've been speaking for 20 plus years all over the world, and they still, they're missing this really, really key element. So I think whether you're giving a talk of 3 minutes, or you're giving a talk, a keynote of 2 hours, or even a several-day workshop, you always want to really keep that in mind. What do I want the audience to do? One thing I like to say is, imagine your talk is over, you're done, you have the huge applause, maybe a standing ovation.
Right.
What do you want someone in the audience to turn to the person next to them and say?
Mm. And then answer that question, and then do you work backwards to figure out what you need to do to get them to say that?
Sure. I mean, so you have to have a goal in mind. You have to understand what change you're trying to affect. You know, we're not talking. Everyone is way too busy these days. So make it matter. Make what you're saying matter, and allow them to take action based on what you're teaching them.
So that's my that's my hashtag. Make it matter. I think that's our first
Make it
one.
matter.
Yeah, and so Jason got a question, but I'm going to save that to later. It's a good question, and I know Jason Womack is on the call. Jason speaks all over the world as well, so I'm thrilled to have you, Jason, here, and then we'll get to that question. That's a good one. Okay, so the third tip. So we talked about the beginning, we talked about the ending. What's your third tip?
My third tip is do the work.
Oh.
Seriously, everybody, do the work. I mean, as an athlete all my life, the work is ingrained into me. I was a softball pitcher up through college, and I wouldn't just ever show up at a game and hope I pitched well and hope I hit my targets. No, I spent hours and hours and years and blood and sweat and tears of my life so that I could be an effective pitcher. Same thing in martial arts, right? I didn't just hope to take one of my black belt tests and hope I passed. My last black belt test, I was notified 2 years before that test was going to happen. So I practiced and trained my body and trained my mind 2 years for one day, one test. What I'm really disappointed that I see in the industry so much is that people just show up and hope that they do well. They just don't put effort into these talks, because a lot of people think, well, I know this material, this is my life. You know, I'm talking about my life's work, and so I'm going to just get up there and ramble off and show some PowerPoint slides. No, please don't do that. Put in the work, put in the effort. Decide, you know, how you can have the greatest impact with your talk. You speakers are in such a wonderful position. You have the opportunity to change people's lives every single time you talk. Don't take that lightly. Put some effort in. Roll up the sleeves. Practice. Practice with yourself. Practice with others. You'll be amazed at the results, and you'll be amazed at how much the audience really appreciates you putting that time in. It's critical, and it's one of the things that I see people overlook again and again and again.
Now, I'm curious, is there a practice strategy that works really well? I mean, should you practice in front of your friends, your spouse, go to the coffee shop and drag people out to the corner and practice with? Is there a best practice for practice?
I love the drag the people out of the coffee shop.
Just
that would be fun.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing, and it goes, you know, if you practice in front of your family and friends and your loved one, chances are they're going to say, good job, honey, that's a great job. You know, if I practice in front of my grandmother, she's going to love my talk no matter what.
Got it.
Is she going to challenge me, though, to be my best me? Maybe not. So I would challenge you all to practice in front of someone who's going to really be critical and is going to be able to tell you where you can improve and be honest. You need honest feedback, not fluff. And one great way to do that also is video yourself. You know, take your phone and video yourself doing your talk. Now, yes, and here's the thing. You hear me say this, how many of you will actually do that? Not very many people. Why? We don't like to see ourselves on camera. A lot of people just don't. We're not comfortable. We're very critical. So, I don't want to see myself on camera. But guess what? As an athlete, the best learning, the best coaching comes from yourself, and yourself as self-correcting. And again, using martial arts as an example, before any of my tests, video, and I would study those videos for hours and hours. And, okay, you know, when the knife comes this way, I can take the elbow that way, you know. So it's just, it's part of doing the work. So critical, so important.
So I'm going to ask
you can be your own best coach.
I'm going to ask a hard question. So I'm going to get you you've videoed yourself doing this. You've done this. What is something that you changed that you didn't know you were doing, but you saw in the video, and it made your presence better?
Oh, sure. One thing you'll pick up, I have picked up in my own videos from a speaking perspective, is those little words that you say, the filler words, the ums, the ahs, the or the little sounds that you make when you're trying to think of what was I supposed to say next, and you'll use those filler words. So when you video yourself, it's really easy to catch those because they're right there in front of you.
Right. Do those filler words go away the more you practice, when you feel more comfortable with the material?
They do, and that is a great example of an outcome of practicing and putting in the work. They go away. It's not easy. You have to be mindful, and you have to do that. But it also has to do with the content you're presenting. If you're presenting content you're not familiar with, or you're not 100% on board with, then you may kind of deviate, and you might put in different words, or even your body language might change. If instead, though, you're talking about something that you really believe the world needs to know, whatever that is for you, it's almost easier because your entire talk becomes a story, and your entire talk becomes almost this fun adventure that you get to reveal to people.
So that getting back to make it matter. So, Kymberlee, what we do in these talks is we give ourselves a little bit of time to get those three. We found that that's about the attention span that we have, where everybody's so busy. I appreciate everybody hanging in there. You got a great crowd. What we like to do now is I like to find your top 3 tips. So just rapid fire, 3 things that people, I mean, we all do speaking in one way or another. It might just be to one person, but in small groups or big groups. So what are top 3 tips that people could start using the next time they go to a talk, give a talk?
Sure. Okay, let's see. Number 1, don't use notes, period.
Really?
Do not do it, really. Do not do it. Because what happens is when you're using notes, you know, I'm looking down at the notes, and I'm looking, and you're not connecting with your audience. Put yourself in the position of the audience. What do you want to see? You want to connect with that person. You want to be along for this ride, for this journey. You want to hear what they have to say authentically. When people use notes, a lot of times, just the audience tunes off. You know, if you're not going to respect me enough as an audience member not to know your stuff, then it's hard for me to respect you as a speaker and not want to check my phone or do something else, because I don't have time to listen to you read something to me. So this is really key. I know number 2, but number 1 is so important. I'll get to one more second on number 1. Because this is just so critical. Even if we only have 2 in this section, this is just so critical. With a lot of the TEDx speakers I work with and the TEDx events I work with, there are no notes, period. You cannot have notes. So you have to really be present. And that's a hard skill also to master. But you can do it. And just say it from your heart and just say your story. And guess what? The audience doesn't want perfection. They don't want a robot up there on stage. If you mess up, we will support you and we will root for you if you're authentic. Okay, so I'll stop there. I could talk another hour about no notes, but no notes, people, no notes. Okay. Number 2, move. Move. Do not stand still. Speakers who just stand still and say it's boring for us, for the audience. Now, I'm not saying run back and forth across stage as fast as you can, but use your body and let the audience feel your emotions. Use your hands and use gestures and allow the physicality of your story to come out, your message to come out. This can really help us as an audience enjoy your performance rather than you just standing still up there.
I've noticed that even in the webinar today, you're fluid. You're moving around.
I know. I don't want to be sitting. I want to be standing. I don't want to be sitting.
So our next one,
when can I stand up? Let me stand.
I'll be standing.
All right.
Okay, real quick, your third one.
Okay, so my third one would be. There's just so many good ones out there. Let's see.
Okay, what about length? Length. Is there a tip?
I couldn't hear what you said.
The length of the talk. Is there a tip?
For how long it should be?
Yeah.
Well, again, the TEDx form or the TED format is 18 minutes or less. And what that does is that forces you to get your idea into a length where people will not only watch it, but they can be present for that and have attention to you that entire time. But there's so many people that, maybe you're hired for a keynote. We talked about this earlier. So length really is going to vary depending on what you're doing. So here, I would add that for a third tip though, drink water, hydrate. It's a lot of my speakers that they don't think about that. That's just not in their mind, but you need your vocal cords very hydrated. Try not to drink tea or coffee. I know that's hard for many of us, myself included. It's so important though to hydrate and keep those vocal cords really relaxed so that you can articulate your messages and you can last, especially if you're doing a really long event.
Kymberlee, thank you so much. We're going to I want to talk a little bit about 805 Connect and when we get to our questions. I just want to remind everybody that 805 Connect is a catalyst for these kinds of conversations here in the 805 region. And you can join us in those conversations at 805connect.com. This project exists through the generosity of our sponsors. If that's something you're interested in learning more about, you can go, you can contact me or you can go onto the site and look at the sponsor area. The questions, I've got a couple of questions here. One, Sloan says, thanks so much. She wants to hear your story. So Sloan, you will be able to listen to the replay. Let's go to Jason's question. He says, do you break this down by the hour? What if it's a 4-hour session that he presents? I'm wondering, am I asking them to change too much? Does that make sense?
No, I'm sorry. I don't understand that question again.
So Jason, I didn't quite get that. Jason, why don't you go in and type that back, and then I'm gonna take Connie. Connie says, I always get nervous before speaking and tend to ramble on. Tips on how to get to tips on how to help in getting a hold of my nerves.
Well, that's a great question, and the background is everyone feels that, even the best speakers. The difference is the best speakers learn how to use that to their advantage. So instead of thinking, I'm so nervous, I have the butterflies, what am I going to do? What if this bad happens or this bad thing happens? Instead, you can look at it as an opportunity. Your body is alive. It's excited. It's supporting you. It's giving you this adrenaline rush so that you can perform and you can be at your best. That said, some techniques that really work well are breathing. Breathing is so key. In fact, I have the word breathe on the back of my clipboard that I carry around to when I'm on site at my client events and stuff. Breathing is so important. In through your nose and out through your mouth, slow. So if you take 3 very deep breaths before you go on stage, that can be really calming, because when you breathe and you breathe slow, your body thinks, oh, okay, we're okay here. We're not in danger. Everything is okay, even though you might still have the butterflies, but it's a signal to your mind that it's not a flight or fight anymore, because you've given it that calm.
I love that tip. Just remember to breathe. And I understand Jason's question better. He said, you were saying, what do you want them to do? What's the takeaway? What's the action? Okay.
Right.
So if you're in a multiple hour event, is that action at the very end, or do you do that by the hour, or do you kind of break that down thematically? And this needs to be a short answer, because I'm getting towards the end and I got a couple other things I want to get over with you.
Not the end. I don't want to go. Okay. Well, Jason, I could talk to you about this offline as well, but the short answer, what I would recommend would be, if let's suppose each of your hours have themes, and hopefully you have stories that go along with your themes for each of your hours, then towards the end of that theme, if a nice package, then you could do your action at the end of that theme, so that it's really top of mind for your audience, and they will remember that and associate the story with the action, with the theme of that particular segment.
Perfect. Kymberlee, thank you so much. I want to give you a little partial here. I know you run Strategic Samurai. I know you're busy all the time, helping you do your own speaking and coaching. How do people get in touch with you? I mean, I'm going to give their email. There's your email. So you take 30 seconds, plug what you do.
Thanks. Well, here's my call to action, or of how people can take action. It's really important to me that, first off, I give value to you. So I hope that everything we talked about, don't just think about these things. Put them into action. The next time you talk, try breathing 3 times before you step on stage. All of these different lessons, the story, find that story, work on it, spend time on it. Don't just take this as, look, this is 30 valuable minutes of your time. So make it matter again, right? Do something with this. For those of you that do want to go deeper and explore this more, this is my life's work right now. I love working on this stuff. So if I have an opportunity to be a badass and help you overcome obstacles, let's do it. So I do one-on-one speaking. I work with speakers anywhere from 1 session just to get their story down to entire performances. And then I'd be curious if people could say in the comments. People have been requesting if I could do a workshop, like a half-a-day workshop, and really go much deeper for a group of people. So if you're interested in that, just go ahead and let Mark know in the comments, and we can follow up with that.
Or they can drop you an email, right?
Sure.
And then if you're going to have, I know you do a newsletter, so if you're going to have a workshop, you would let people know through the newsletter, yeah?
I could do that as well. Yeah.
Great. Kymberlee, thank you so much. Well, thanks to our partners, to you, the attendees that have hung out with us. Kymberlee, thank you so much. If you learned something today, tell someone. We're a catalyst for conversation here, introducing to people we think you would like to know better. You'll get an email tomorrow with a link to the replay. Next month, where's my next month? We are going to, where's my next month slide? Don't have it. So next month, we have a great conversation. Let me see if I can find it here, and I can't. So I'll tell you, we announced today that we are, 805 Connect is starting a podcast with Pull Spring Press.
So we're going to be doing podcasting on a regular basis. We're very excited. And we're going to have Patrick Melroy, the co-founder of Pullspring, next month, the last Wednesday of the month at 2:30 in the afternoon. We're going to talk to him about this, and we're so excited about it. I know you're very excited about speaking. I'm excited about being parts of those conversations. So it is 3:00 on the nose. Thank you, everybody. Really appreciate you supporting us and telling your friends. And thank you very much.
Kymberlee, again, thank you so much.
Bye-bye, everyone.